Sports Blitz Live is on the air with full coverage of the Auburn Tigers.
Touchdown, Auburn!
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown,
and everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
Background for everybody. It's still bluish, isn't it?
It looks even extra Auburn today.
Well, right. Well, I went from the gator blue, and I thought that was actually black. So.
It's straight navy.
Oh, here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome into the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Glad you've joined us here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. Brett Pritchard and Randy Lee coming to you this morning. Luke Robinson will join us, whenever. He rolls around, goes to get Starbucks, comes back. I woke up, it's snowing here, so I'm sure it's probably snowing where he is as well. So, again, we're glad you joined us. It's a great morning to talk sports, man. It's not a good morning to get outside. That is for dang sure. So we got a lot to talk about, man. Semifinals are in the books. Two really good football games, Randy. I think that's what all of us were pulling for, looking for some type of bright spot in these college football playoffs because, man, they've taken their lumps, they've taken their shots, and we've had two really good semifinals, and I think it'll set up for what I think could be a good, national championship game if Notre Dame can hold their own with Ohio State. But I thought Texas definitely did last night. If anything, Texas lost the game. Texas giving up that big play before halftime after they had fought back and tied the thing up. And then, the decision and the play calling down inside the 2-yard line when you had a chance to tie the game was baffling to me. And I know we'll dive into it, but overall, two really good football games here in the semifinals.
Well, there's no part of me that feels like the championship game can't be a good football game because when I watched Texas play last night and I thought at the entirety here of this playoff run, for whatever reason, their offense has got a lot to be desired. Quinn Ewers, I know he came out of high school as one of the more decorated quarterbacks in the country and one of the higher recruits in the country, but he has his moments, but he also has moments where you watch him, Luke, and glad to have you in. He has those moments where you go, man, is his arm strength questionable? Is there some type of injury that we're not hearing about? I thought that he was more mobile than he is, and that comes into that inside the 5-yard line. I mean, if Manning's in the ball game right there, or if Riley Leonard's in the ball game right there, anybody that's in the game right there, you're running it straight ahead, probably with the quarterback, Jalen Milroe, keep going down the list. But they don't do that often with Quinn Ewers. So I'll bring you in, Luke, here. I don't want to start with one player, but I'm going to start with one player. Has he taken that big of a step back for you this year compared to what we saw with Quinn Ewers last year?
I'm not sure he's taken a step back. I just think he's fine. He's very good. He's got some elite talent around him, which makes him look even a little better. But he just hadn't lived up to his height, which, again, other people, external factors create that. So it's hard for me to hate on him for that. But he just hasn't done that. I'll tell you, in terms of the, late in the game, you got first and goal after, I think, a pass interference or something on the 2-yard line, whatever it is. They run the ball once up the middle, and right. It's just like it scared Steve Sarkisian to death. And guess who was the offensive coordinator in the Iron Bowl in 2019? Alabama has first and goal. All they got to do is score, and they go up 2 scores. Instead, they tried some little flare pass to Najee Harris, and it bounces off his rather round posterior into the hands of a waiting Auburn defender, and he takes it 100-something yards. So instead of being up 2 scores, now you're down. You're tied. Well, I think Sarkisian just has a thing about not running the ball up the middle 3 or 4 times. I get it if you want to do a play action eventually, but I think it's sort of an unwritten rule in football for the most part that if you pass on first down when it's like first and goal from the 1 or 2, you're basically saying we can't get in there running. Do you I mean, it's almost like a setting a tone type thing. And Sarkisian, for all his brilliance, and he had some brilliant plays last night, when he gets very close to the goal line, it seems like everything tightens up for him, and he wants to pass it so badly, when that's where there are fewer windows to pass. There's a fewer area for mistakes. I mean, it's all tightened up in there. And so Texas has some big boys. I know Ohio State's got some big boys, but Texas does too. I would have run it a couple of times first, at least. I would now. And in his defense, I guess he did run it wide, but that's the same thing as passing. And that cost him 5 yards.
What gets lost in this modern age of football is what football was founded on. And that's toughness up front. And look, if I fought back and I've got momentum and I'm inside the 2-yard line, I'm gonna say, and our good friend Gary Harris in Tuscaloosa sent me a text last night, and he said, "Man," he said, "this modern age of coaching, they try to outsmart and get too cute when you should just line up and say, okay, I got to get 2 yards or less than 2 yards. I've got 4 shots at this thing. I'm lining up under center and I'm about to pass. We don't get under center. We get 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage now." And now we give a clear advantage. And so then you pitch wide and play into Ohio State's advantage where they've got speed at safety and they can come fill gaps and they can set the edge and make the tackle. Just line up. If they stop you 4 times, man, tip your hat. And if they stop you 4 times, they got the ball inside the 1-yard line and you still got 2 timeouts and a 2-minute warning, you still have a chance to get the ball back. But when you lost 8 yards on second down, that was pretty much it.
I agree. I mean, and we've been asking why get 5-6 yards behind the line and take a shotgun snap when you do you not take enough? But we have seen that over the years where quarterbacks that don't take snaps from under center, especially in in a situation where you're inside the 5-yard line and all eyes are on you, that we've seen people drop. Did we not do that with A.J. McCarron a few times? Have some issues with that, Luke, if I remember back in the day. I don't know. There was some ball issues with center quarterback exchange that we've all seen over the years, and Auburn's had the same situations with some bigger and stronger quarterbacks, but we don't see it. So I don't know. Thought it was a pretty good game. You're just coming in, Luke. We talked about that a little bit earlier. 2 really good semifinal games.
I think the first half of the first game wasn't a lot of fun, but the second half was great.
There was only 1 score.
Yeah. The first half of this game was pretty, I mean, it wasn't, the defenses were good, but it wasn't like this dominating defensive performance. It's almost like the offense wasn't executing and the defense was capitalizing on it instead of the defense forcing the issue for both sides. But then, Texas scores and Ohio State scores right back, and all of a sudden now you're intrigued again. And the second half had a lot more intensity, I thought. Another thing that Ohio State reminds me of, because if Ohio State didn't have 2 losses and they go through this and win this title like I think they will now, I think you'd have to put them up there as one of the better teams of all time. But because they have 2 losses, I don't think you can do that. And in that way, it kind of reminds me of Alabama 2010, where I think they were the most talented team in the country, but they had 3 losses. So you can't, whenever I tell people, I was like, that may have been Saban's best team. It just didn't gel well.
I agree with you, Luke. I think it was his best team.
And I'm like, yeah, but you see, if they had a playoff back then, who would have, in Alabama had gotten in, who would have bet against them? This Ohio State team, same way. They looked like, we don't know what they look like against Michigan. Like, we're all scratching our heads. How in the flea-flopping world did y'all lose to this crowd? And now the only thing it did, and again, you can say that's a positive or a minus for the expanded playoffs. A lot of people are viewing it as a positive. I get the minus side of it because, my point's always been if you have 2 losses, you probably shouldn't win the title.
What you see, I think, guys, is they have the most expensive roster in college football. They have the best roster in college football, and I think at the end of the day, that's going to end up winning the national championship. I thought we talk about quarterbacks, guys. I want to bring this up. And Jason Caldwell yesterday on Auburn Blitz had a great point. We all talk about having a dynamic quarterback, and we've seen what it does for Auburn to have a dynamic quarterback. It's been our best years. But over and over, we see the teams that win a national championship. The teams that win a national championship more times than not have the complete roster. It's not about the quarterback. Will Howard, he's okay. Quinn Ewers, he's okay. Stetson Bennett, nobody thought that kid, nobody said he was some type of NFL pro. I mean, more times than not, you're going to see a team win a national championship that have all the complete pieces, and they don't have to rely on one guy. I know we get enamored and talk about stud quarterbacks, and yes, I want a stud quarterback year in and year out, and I think that's what Miami's trying to do down there is mask their deficiencies like Auburn did when Gene Chizik was here. But at the end of the day, it's the team with the deepest and best roster. Yeah, you're going to lose a game or two probably, but I think with this 12-team playoff over time, they're going to be the one that wins out.
Yeah, I think that you the better way to say it is not maybe dynamic, but at least have a quarterback who fits well with the system, and frankly, somebody that doesn't turn it over a lot. We can get into this later, but Jimmy and I, it was funny. We looked at Drew Aller, we looked at Riley Leonard, and we looked at Jalen Milroe. And listen to these stats that are kind of mind-blowing. Every single one of them averages 16 completions on 25 attempts. They all average roughly 205 to 210 yards a game. All average roughly a touchdown and an interception a game. Now, I mean, I'm rounding up or down. And now, so, Milroe obviously averaged, 53 yards a game rushing, and Riley Leonard 58, and Allard a little less than that. And my point to Jimmy was, that really is interesting, because I think then when given those three quarterbacks, and people are just lauding Riley Leonard with praise right now, even though, that guy's got no shot in the NFL, right? I think we'd say. I hate to say no shot because nothing's impossible, but I don't think he does. And
let me pause you right there. Let's get to our first TV and radio break. We'll come back. We'll keep this going. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Sportz Auto Sales, Highway 280 in Kellyton, Alabama, is home-owned and home-operated. If you're looking for tires, they have it. If you're looking for a vehicle, they have them. Great selection. Always out looking for more just for you, the customer. And if you're looking for service, whether you buy the vehicle from them or whether you buy the vehicle somewhere else, they do service work and got a great crew there. Keep us in mind. Why don't you go by Sportz Auto Sales on Highway 280 in Kellyton today.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply is your headquarters for all the brands contractors know best. We are your local home improvement store with 9 convenient locations throughout Central Alabama. We have a huge selection of Weber and Traeger, Pelican coolers, Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, and other top brands. No matter the project, we have you covered with our high-quality lumber and building supplies. From do-it-yourselfers to seasoned pros, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply has what you need to get the job done.
I'm Karen Chanel, your State Farm agent in Alexander City, Alabama, and the greater Lake Martin area. I want to talk to you a little bit today about your discounts. How many of you are entitled to discounts that you may or may not be receiving? One of the easiest discounts on your homeowner's insurance is that of having a fire extinguisher. Coupled with a deadbolt lock and a smoke alarm, that gives you an automatic discount on your homeowner's policy.
Located in the heart of Alabama, Lake Martin is a destination of tasty delights.
Lots of butter.
There's no shortage of culinary genius.
Don't tell my secrets.
From mom and pops
Everyone feels like family.
to lakeside dining.
We serve food, but we try to do it with purpose.
Pour it straight in the ear.
I'm Trey Foshee.
I'm a chef now.
And I'm going to try them all.
I can do this all day.
Because there's one thing locals around here know. Lake Martin's got bite.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Been longtime partners here on our program for over 20 years. We appreciate them. If you need a heating and air unit, call on Sunshine Heating and Air here in the Lake Martin area. I woke up this morning. It was snowing. It was nasty yesterday. It's just been a nasty couple of days outside. So you want to make sure your heating and air unit is working. If it's not, and you just found that out this weekend, you need to call on Sunshine Heat and Air and Kevin Keel. Guys, going back to what you were talking about and what we were talking about before we went to our first break, quarterback play is always important, but I don't think you have to have elite quarterback play when you got a complete roster. Now, teams that don't have a complete roster, yeah, they've got to mass deficiencies, and they've got to be able to find somebody that can make up for some of those things. But we're seeing teams over the last 5 or 6 years don't have to have a number one draft pick quarterback back there to win a national championship, Randy.
Well, it's got to be on the right team, and it's got to be a loaded roster. So you've got to, and I know Auburn is finally recruiting up to that level, but I mean, you're talking about teams like Alabama, Ohio State,
Georgia,
a few others, but those three teams have not dipped outside of the top 5 in recruiting since when, Luke? You're the recruitnik of the bunch. I mean, when's the last time Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State was outside of not even the top 5? Let's just say outside of the top 7 in recruiting. It's got to be a decade ago, if not more.
It has to. I mean, look, Alabama's been in there since Saban's really his first full recruiting class, and Ohio State's always there. And
so there's your answer, Brett. That's dead on what you're saying.
Yeah, those
exactly
are
what you're saying.
Those are the teams winning the national championship.
Those are the teams that can do it without a top-tier number one draft pick quarterback.
Who else has won the national championship?
Well, LSU has, but LSU has with the best quarterback. He was a freak show.
That's what I'm saying. He had a stud.
Michigan did, and they were a winner through good timing. If you ask me, they had a big senior loaded crew.
But they didn't have some
quarterback. Now he was drafted in the first round by Minnesota, right? Wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yes,
but I wouldn't call him like crazy.
No,
awesome. Of course, Clemson with Deshaun Watson and Lawrence. I mean,
Trevor Lawrence.
Now, whatever Deshaun Watson's done in the pros notwithstanding, he's one of the best college quarterbacks I can remember. I mean, that for sure was crazy accurate. Now he gets to the pros and has an affinity for massage parlors, and more power to him. But he just tore his Achilles for the second time.
And Cleveland spent $230 million on him.
Well, just Cleveland's like that friend that you have that if they win the lottery, they're going to lose their money. But if they don't have any money, they're going to lose their money. Cleveland is going to find a way to spend $200 and something million. Whether it was on him, they'd go to the track, they'd do something. Cleveland's going to burn that money up. They ain't going to save it. They ain't a saving type program.
Hey, we got some comments rolling in. Tony said, just tuned in. Where do you think Quinn Ewers will go if he departs Texas? So we just talked about it a little bit. Tony, it appears that he will be going pro.
He told College Game Day he's going pro.
Well, who knows?
Carson Beck said he was going pro too.
Absolutely. Hey, by the way, did the Cavender girl he dates have any pull on Carson Beck going to
It should have. I almost transferred that. I just showed up. Where's she at?
And then hey, look, they've been dating from afar. And then when he showed up down there, she went, whoa, I thought you were the starting quarterback for Georgia. Who is this guy? Bless his heart, man. I mean, look, there's not a model in the three of us, but Lord help. Good.
Now,
Lord.
that tweet that got sent out amongst us last night was pretty accurate about part of the deal was he gets to go to the Everglades and catch flies. Now, we didn't say it.
Yeah, we didn't say it. We just passed the word along.
Yeah.
Justin said stats are, I guess that's deceiving. Averages per game in 2024, Jalen Monroe 16 to 25, 219, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 56 yards rushing. Peyton Thorne 18 to 29, 247, 2 TDs, 1 interception, 26 yards rushing. Now they can't. TDs, 1 interception, 26 yards rushing. Now they can't. They're always. He did come back and correct himself and say deceiving, but that's for the most part. Numbers usually carry across, but there's going to be outliers sometimes. That again, you look up on the scoreboard and you're like, how in the world did that team win? Because that's when you average in other elements of the game that can affect the score. So that's part of it.
I wonder how different Peyton Thorne's stats would have looked had he played, because he sat a game and a half, right? Didn't he sit a game and a half?
That's right.
I don't know if his stats would have been better or worse. I don't know. I'm just curious. I mean, I don't know.
I know which side I'd have been on. I mean, just – again, it's kind of like Cleveland. You kind of already know what the outcome is before you get it.
But the two teams he sat against, Brett, were they?
Well, he sat against New Mexico. Now, he would have.
Okay, he would have. See, his stats would have looked even better, I think. So, New Mexico and then half of Arkansas, maybe?
Half of Arkansas, yeah. Yeah,
so, I mean, I think his stats would have looked better, which is wild, which, again, goes to stats can be deceiving. Now, it's deceiving in the sense that, I mean, the other thing is Peyton Thorne didn't have a ton around him. I mean, now, granted, I'm not trying to stick up for Peyton Thorne. I'm just saying if his stats were even marginally better, I don't think it necessarily.
But it is, it is weird. If you look at his stats and he posted a graphic because he made the Hula Bowl, and I mean, I can't remember exactly what it is, but he's like third all time in single season touchdowns and fifth all time in single season passing yards in Auburn history. And it's like, man, if you look at that and you go, well, why did Auburn fans what was the disconnect? What was the problem there? Well, if you look at the record, that was the problem.
Losses.
The disconnect was you found a way to lose every time. And it's, again, another thing is, guys, you talk about this all the time, somebody that's a gamer and somebody that's not. Yeah. Somebody that always figures out a way to make a play when the game's on the line or screw it up when the game's on the line. And unfortunately, Peyton Thorne always found a way to screw it up when the game was on the line. Now, the 4th and 31 wasn't his fault against Alabama. And, of course, Isaiah Bond drops one wide open, Luke, across the middle.
Did you see? And it's like Kirk Herbstreit even was like,
why is he jumping?
Why did he jump? I mean, he jumped up, fumbled around. It was going to be the most dramatic.
Why couldn't he have done that against us?
TNT.
Why couldn't he have done that against Auburn? I mean, that thing stuck in his hands like it was like so much Elmer's glue in his gloves. I mean, that thing wasn't going to – it didn't even bobble. I was like, golly, man. So, but anyway, we're up against another break for TV. Keep these comments coming in. We'll get to them when we come back. Stay tuned. More of the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best-kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Hi, I'm Abby Guy, Vice President at Riverbank and Trust. They say that most banks offer the same products, but Riverbank offers something most can't: personal connection. We love getting to know our customers by name and making them feel special with every interaction. It's a feeling of warm hospitality you won't find anywhere else. Experience it for yourself.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air here in hour number one of Saturday Sports Countdown. Just going through some of these comments as we come back. Ed said, y'all probably talked about this. Thought I heard Belichick had offered Ewers 5.5. We've heard 4 to 6 million, haven't we, from Ohio State to Oregon to now maybe Belichick. And I was telling both of you guys, this Belichick thing's going to be interesting to watch. I mean, he's got scam written all over him. He just doesn't even look like he belongs in college. Now he's hired his son, and the rumor mill on the message boards everywhere, especially North Carolina, is that he's going to head back to the NFL, because we know, Luke, especially you watching NFL as much as you do, it's a fraternity up there in the NFL. They just recycle coaches. And there's going to be a bunch of job openings just like there are every year. And somebody's going to try to get Bill Belichick, and they probably will entice him to come. He may never coach a down of football at North Carolina.
You know what? The NFL is like a 3-year-old child with a toy chest full of coaches. And he goes in there and throws them over his shoulder. And then the mama comes in there and he picks the one he likes and plays with it for a while. The mama comes in there and cleans them all back up. And then when he wants another one, he just picks, I got Bill Belichick, Rex Ryan. Here's this other one. They just turn over.
Rex Ryan's going back to the Jets, it seems like it.
Well, that's what they were talking about.
Yeah.
I won't even say the place or the person, so it's going to take some sting off of what he said. But as a friend of mine once said about a certain location I know about, we're talking about Dayton. He said, nobody ever breaks up. You just lose your place. And so it's like a rotary phone. You just keep going round and round. And and that's the truth. You break up and you go, I guess I go to the back of the line.
People don't watch us, people don't wake up on Saturday morning to watch us about sports. They wake up for life advice. They're like, man, okay, I'm not the only one that happens to.
Yeah.
So Justin said Belichick will be like Tony Barbie over in Australia recruiting.
We had hit the lowest of low points when Auburn went after jumping Jack Purchase over in Australia, because we couldn't recruit anybody within 600 miles of Auburn University, and we had every excuse under that you could come up with. The reasons that Under Armour, remember this, all the AAU and Under Armour talk and reason.
Couldn't believe it.
No, we just there was no way that Auburn was going to be able to recruit to that level, being part of that brand. We have hired some of the biggest fools at Auburn University you could put together.
Talk about scam. I can't believe we didn't hire Bill Belichick. And here's the deal. I'll never forget me and you walking up the tunnel from Legacy Arena back to the Sheraton, and we turned the corner and Tony Barbee was walking ahead of us. And I think I said it pretty loud. I said, "Is that Barbee?" I didn't think he knew how to find his way up here. I didn't think he knew how to get to Birmingham to recruit. It was almost like Brian Harsin. I don't think Brian Harsin knew how to get outside the city limits of Auburn. It was terrible, man. And look, I'm not saying that's how it's going to work out for North Carolina. He may coach and he may implement a system and they may start dominating college football. I would probably bet on the other side, though.
Well, Tony Barbee, I remember that day, and he had gone up there for the Electric Light Orchestra concert that night. He didn't even know there was a basketball game.
He looked disappointed when he was walking
He
back.
showed up with his ticket and said, "I done missed this date by a week and a half."
Has there ever been, like, literally, we have a Mount Rushmore at Auburn of idiots for coaches. Like, our Mount Rushmore. Yeah, a lot better description. But, I mean, when you put Brian Harsin and Sonny Galloway and Tony Barbee up there, I mean, I had bashed Tony Barbee so much on Twitter, he finally blocked me. Because I made sure to tag him in everything I said because I couldn't stand him that much. I'm like, look, I know we weren't really good in basketball anyway, but you took what little we had. It was like Bob Cratchit in the Christmas Carol. You got one piece of coal to keep you warm. I'm like, well, I can lean on that every once in a while. Hell, he came in and stole that from me. I mean, that's like, well, let's build this mausoleum for the worst coach in college basketball history. So, yeah, it comes down to recruiting. Man, he didn't know how to do it. He just absolutely didn't know how to recruit.
Well, the effort wasn't there. And Brian Harsin, the effort wasn't there.
He lacked in knowledge, he certainly also lacked in effort.
Luke, I don't know if you've seen it, and I'm sure you haven't, but they did basically a little small documentary on Auburn basketball. Auburn Productions did, and when they opened up, when the very first scene is Auburn Arena, and there's a game going on. I thought it was a practice, and there's a game going on in there. I'm like, literally, if there are 20 people in that arena, there's no way there were 20 people in there. And the cheerleader, I'm like, what is this? And that was how bad it was. We had just opened a new arena, and the product was so horrible. That makes what Bruce Pearl, what he's done and where this program is. And I know Alabama can say the same thing, and Alabama's had a little bit more success over time than Auburn. But let's be honest, Alabama's basketball program had drifted down to the doldrums too, and nobody was looking at this state. We were just trying to get through the winter months to get to spring football, and that's not what we do here anymore.
When you think about all the times, how many times did Alabama and Auburn, when they played each other, had a 51-50 final? I mean, 51-50 is a halftime score in most of our games.
I walked out with Brett one day, and Auburn had won 53-49, and there was one dunk in the basketball game. I said, I can't believe how bad the athletes are out here for both teams. It was pitiful. But I saw last night bracketology. They're already throwing some. Here's our thoughts on 1 through 5 seeds. The first two teams in the 1 seed bracketology lines: Auburn, Alabama. I was thinking to myself last time, I mean, where are we? What time warp are we in where the first two teams, it may have been Lenardi. I can't. Luke, did you see it yesterday?
They're now like more per week. The guy over at CBS does one, the guy at ESPN does one, and then Bleacher Report, I think, steals and combines both of them. But there's more than one per week, so it's one of those guys. Yeah.
If you had to ask me right now, Brett did this week on the Auburn Blitz. I mean, who do you watch, or who do you look around the country and say, man, I don't necessarily want to play them? Because that's where Auburn is right now. I mean, how many teams are out there that that's not a good matchup for Auburn? And the two teams that scare me the worst are Duke and Alabama. You got somebody else, Brett, that you watch? And I go, because I think we can beat both of them.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I also
on
think
each
it's
side, for sure.
But I also think it's a 50-50 with both of them, just based off of how the shooting goes, how good Cooper Flagg plays, how good Sears plays. I mean, there's a lot of variables, but I don't look at very many other teams in a neutral site if Auburn doesn't play very poorly that we don't win. Those are the two teams that concern me.
If I had to pick, if you said, give me those three teams of the field, I'd probably take those three teams to win it. I mean,
yeah, no doubt.
And I mean, now the field's big, but I mean, you know, you can also pare down the field. I mean, they're in the field, they're probably literally only 5 to 10 teams that could win it outside of those three. And I think those three are better than those other teams. And so, yeah, I would probably do that.
All right, guys, let's take another break here for TV and radio. Stay tuned. More to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Get ready to rev up your fall with Adams Motorsports in Montgomery. This season, experience the thrill of the open road like never before. From sleek motorcycles to powerful ATVs to versatile side-by-sides, we've got everything you need to fuel your passion for adventure. Whether Polaris, Suzuki, or Kawasaki, Adams sells and services the best. Go to where the journey begins. Visit us today or online for more information. From East Alabama's first family of power sports, Adams Motorsports of Montgomery.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense. Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
This is Joseph Dean with Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory. I am pleased to announce that Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is now open to serve the public at our location on the corner of 49 North and 280 West in Dadeville. Please stop by and see lifelong resident of Dadeville, Molly Kaler, who will be running the office and meeting with families who want to plan ahead and pre-need their services. We are also available by phone, 256-750-0381, or online at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple segments left here in hour number 1. I'll have another hour coming to you. We'll be with you till 9 o'clock today. The semifinals are in the books. We have the national championship game. It feels like we've been playing football for 9 months, and then you're going to turn right around and have a spring practice start up really literally in about a month and a half for a lot of teams. So this thing really has become year round. And got some comments coming in. We'll get to those. Ed said, Hubert Davis, hey guys, y'all told me we were out of NIL money, and Belichick raised $21 million in 3 days. Yeah, and they put it in that suitcase, didn't they, Luke? They ain't seen him since. He had been back on campus. They don't know where he went.
I need it in 2 duffel bags, and me and my 26-year-old girlfriend going to carry it around the country. We're going to find us some players. We'll be back when we get back. Now, that's the other thing that's funny. Lane Kiffin's getting back with his ex-wife, and Bill Belichick's got a 26-year-old girlfriend. Who would have thought that? Either one of them things.
Didn't have it on my bingo card, that's for sure. So I guess maybe that was the deal between Layla Kiffin and Lane, is that, okay, I know we were married, I love you, but we didn't get all the wildness out of our system. So you go your way and I'll go mine. And then when we all decide that we're just tired of partying and we're tired of being Joey Freshwater, and we'll just come back together in Oxford, Mississippi, and settle down as one nice, happy family.
You know, I can just see them now. Both, you ready to meet me in Atlanta? And they both meet at the airport, and they're like, I got all that out of the way. Let's go do some married stuff.
That's exactly how that went down.
Want to play some bridge or something? I mean,
let me jump in here.
Yeah.
For everybody that's listening out there, imagine sitting with these two at like a conference where some poor human's up there trying to give you a speech with these two squirrels seeing guys that I'm doing this show with.
Hey man, let me get a shout out to you.
You may as well just go and turn the loudspeaker up and sit in the corner if you think you don't hear anything that's going on with these two guys in this room.
Nothing on earth. Y'all know this, and I'm just going to go ahead and admit it. There's nothing on earth than going to a banquet that you don't want to be at and getting the same plate of rubber chicken and stale green beans and some runny mashed potatoes. And then you hear everybody get up and tell their life story for 2 hours. You forget why you're at the banquets, to honor somebody. But somebody gets to
this is because of them. Like individuals, they all got up there and basically said, I know we're here to honor Jim Scott over here, but let me tell you a little bit about me and all the stuff I've done. In case y'all want to give me some flowers and award and something just hanging around.
And we're not going to name names, and we're not going to name where it is. But one of the very first we all attended, and we were excited because it was, a pretty big deal what we were getting to do and part of what we were doing with broadcasting. And we show up, and there's a lot of people in there and, pretty prominent people. And this one dude, he said, the hell with it. I'm taking this show over.
Yeah.
And he did. And for 2 hours, it was about him. And then the next day, he pulled up on the sidewalk, said, everybody just get out of the way. I'm back. I'm back.
Eagles. Eagles. Pulled up. Half the car was on the sidewalk, tilted up like this. By the front gate. He had to back up. He had run into the gate so much.
I'm telling you, man. I can't stand it. I hate it. So, it's our diversion when you're sitting there and then you get, how it is. You back when you were in school and you're in the back of the class and somebody says something funny and the teacher's trying to teach. And, man, you're trying to hold in a laugh, man. And then sometimes you give that and then everybody looks around like, did he just – and then everybody – and you're trying not to laugh. But that's what we do with these banquets. I know that sounds elementary, but, man, I don't know that I've been back to one.
Brett, did you start this segment wanting to talk about Penn State?
I did. I don't think we're going to make it. So I don't think we're going to get there. We're probably going to get the break.
We'll get you next time. Lindsey Buckingham. What's up with that?
Justin said 2 duffel bags and 5 sweatshirts with sleeves cut off. That's what they gave Bill Belichick.
You give him that and $21 million, that's all he needs.
Justin quit the HSA network with us because of this. He said nothing compares to the Final 48 rubber chicken buffet in between the girls' 2A semifinals. I wondered why Justin left. He just never would give us a reason, Randy. He said, I'm going to move on to, I've got a better offer. But tell us the truth, Justin. Why did you leave? He couldn't take it no more. He couldn't take the audio difficulties. He couldn't take the audio difficulties. And I have to tell a quick, funny story that involves Justin. We went down to the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game, and we plugged in down there. And, again, when you go on the road, you don't know what the heck you're going to get. And we plugged in, and I guess we determined that the cord wasn't grounded. The equipment wasn't. It sounded like a B-52 bomber was taking off the entire game on the radio. It was the loudest jet engine sound. It's like, man, I can't figure this out. When I unplug it, it goes away. I'm like, well, no kidding. I'm like, so you got any power? So it's like, but I'm telling you, we got back, we listened to the replay of that thing, and I'm like, I don't know how in any realm of the world anybody could listen to 5 minutes of that. So that was a wash. That was a whole day of nothing. And then Luke and I, since we're going down this rabbit hole, my son Luke brought this up because I forgot I brought Braden with us to that Alabama-Mississippi game where there were 5 stanzas of the national anthem.
Oh, we didn't know there were that many.
I still, Braden, he brought that up the other day. He said, Daddy, you remember when we were at that football game and that woman sang like 4 or 5 stanzas of that? People started sitting down because I thought we were on some type of show. They were like, watch this. We're going to keep going.
You know what I thought? My thought was, how long was Francis Scott Key locked up in there? that man wrote
Hey, Luke, they did a flyover, and the Jets, the people said, well, I thought we were done. They circled the stadium and came back through 4 times.
Well, I was like, we're going to run out of rockets and red glare. I'll never forget that. I would have bet somebody my life savings there was not another stanza.
Look at me! I swear to God, I looked over. You know, at the very end, you're like, all right, let's get ready, and we're looking at our chart. We're getting ready to run start lineups down, and she goes, oh! I mean, it went right back into it. I went, was that a? I said, was that a warm up?
And
was
then
she practicing?
The British came over, and we. I was like, hey, talking about stuff you see now.
He's trying to write a song about a war going on and shots being fired. He sat there and described the entire battle. He documented the whole thing. They got the history from his song.
Well, so, I'll give him credit. He memorized that whole thing.
I don't know how he did
Can
it.
you imagine that?
No, I don't know how. That it's impossible. All right, we got to go to break. So,
talk on Penn State.
Yeah, that was a really good, interesting talk on Penn State. All right, we'll be back with more after this.
Hello, this is Little Mo right here with you from DLR Us Auto Sales. At DLR Us, we have multiple sedans and SUVs. Come see us at 33445 U.S. Highway 280, Childersburg, Alabama, 35044. Call us at 256-267-3257. Let's make a deal, people. Our down payment is based on $500 down with the approval of credit. We make it happen. We work with you. We got the choice for you, and we make the right deal.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care open 7 days a week. Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, is looking for the next hometown hero. Hometown heroes could be first responders, public service workers, community leaders, pastors, community volunteers, or anyone who is making a difference in your hometown. Submit your nominations now online at myhscu.com. And if your nominee is selected, they will get a $100 Visa cash card and a certificate of appreciation from Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union, federally insured by the NCUA.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rates. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekends. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling. And Sarah Honda has your answer. Serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Leave that joke for you.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. I'm going to try not to lie again. We're going to get to Penn State and again, Notre Dame, and that was a pretty interesting segment. So, yeah, that was a little comedy for everybody out there kind of going down memory lane. But to close out the first hour, we did talk about last night's game. It was a good game. You're right, Luke. I think Notre Dame, Penn State in the first half, all I thought about was what Randy had been saying for 2 weeks is the defenses. And look, for last night for a long time, defenses ruled the roost. And it's like all of a sudden the offenses kind of caught themselves in the second half of both of these games. But we're seeing a different style of football being played and I think we're all used to 35 to 31 games or 38, 31 games where you score a lot of points. And so I heard what you were saying, Luke, about, maybe that first half wasn't as good. No, it wasn't probably as exciting, but it was only a one-score game. And, I just think we're so used to those high-scoring, high-flying type games in this modern era of college football that we've kind of reverted back to some defensive struggles, whether it be mediocre offense is helping it look like it's a really good defensive game. But the bottom line is it's close games, and, hey, it makes for good TV.
Yeah, it does. And if that's what they want. And look, the college football has morphed right into the NFL right before our eyes, not just because the NIL and the pay for play and everything else, but the 2-minute warning. And now I think that's what, the NFL always, every game seems to come down to a single score, doesn't it? Or it's 2 scores and the other team can make it within a single score to at least make it interesting late in the ball game. And, college football has never really been about that, but that's what it's going towards. And again, we just have to adapt. I mean, I keep hearing people tell me, hey, it's changed, you got to deal with it. And I've been saying that, but it's happening so fast, it's hard to recognize what we're dealing with. And, as I told Jimmy the other day, that I don't think we're far from, I always said, hey, you'll never have trades or anything in college football because you can't tell somebody where to go to school. But I don't think we're far from it. I swear to God. The more I think about it, the more I think about why don't we have free agency when let's say you lose your quarterback or you lose you lose your top 2 running backs in the middle of the year, right? To injury. I mean, if somebody were still in the transfer portal, why can't you go get them anymore? I mean, I guess because somebody will say, well, they've already started classes. Who gives a rip about that?
Yeah, who is paying attention to that?
Worried about that? I mean, I know they're vaguely worried about it right now, superficially worried about it, because that's why the transfer portal times are where they are right now. But, I think eventually we're going to get to the point where you're not worried about that. We're about to go to, having 5 years and, you have 5 years to play football. That's it. Now, look, I can get behind that in a sense because I think all these medical red shirts and the playing 9 years, I think all that's kind of crap. I think you should get 5 years. And if you're hurt all 5 years, that's just tough on you. At some point, I would just love to see, say, hey, sometimes you ain't meant to be a football player. I'm sorry, but we can't continue to change every rule so that everybody can play all for as long as they want to. And that's been sort of the beauty of college football is that you can move on. I mean, we don't have any Tom Brady's that play for one organization for 20 years. So I don't know. Again, I get worried about it. There's nothing I can do about it, though, so then I quit worrying about it.
Well, I'll say this about the game the other night, though. Penn State, I thought in the first half was a way better football team than Notre Dame. I didn't think Notre Dame would get their offense together. Watching that first half, I was like, Riley Leonard has moments in every game where you go, is he just really mediocre or is he below average? And then tip your hat to him, Brett. He can turn it on. He's a gamer. He finds ways. I really like him. And, those of us that cover high school sports in the state of Alabama know what type of an athlete he was. He was top shelf athlete, one of the best high school basketball players from a high flying standpoint that we've had in this state over the last decade. There were highlight reels upon highlight reels coming out of Fairhope, Alabama when he was a sophomore in high school. And I'm not talking about shooting threes. I'm talking about all kinds of
whatever he wanted to do,
dunking the basketball, Riley Leonard could. So I'm not surprised to see how good of an athlete he is, but he has moments where he can turn it on. And I don't know why some athletes can, but he did it the other night. Because when he got hurt, I thought it was going to help Notre Dame. I was watching the game going, now Notre Dame's got to go to a more pass-happy attack. It's going to make them open up whether they want to or not. And they're either going to lose by throwing some interceptions, but they're going to give themselves a chance because they're playing it too close to the vest. And then he comes back, and Brett, he was a different guy. So I don't know what it is. And so that's part of the storyline. And
he's a gamer. He
is a gamer, and I think that that's something that we've missed. I'm not knocking Peyton Thorne and Jalen Milroe, but for all of the good things that they bring to the game, for whatever reason, when it gets tight, a lot of times they can't make the plays at the end that win you the football game. And Riley Leonard so far in this playoff run has. Tip your hat to Marcus Freeman. Put a mic in front of him, let him talk. He's selling the rest of the country on Notre Dame right now, and we all hate Notre Dame. I've hated Notre Dame my whole life. I don't know what it is about them. They're not a program that I've ever looked to.
Well, they're elitist. They're elitist.
They are, but this guy has the country behind them, and I think there's something to be said about the way that he carries himself and the things that he says and the way he interacts with reporters on the sideline. I think he's got a great demeanor about him. So those two guys are a big storyline here in this playoff run.
Yeah, he made Notre Dame likable, which is practically impossible. And, the other thing that I think won a lot of people over, and I hope I'm not stepping on toes, but, that felt like the ESPN reporter was trying to bring the whole race thing into it.
Holly McGrath.
Yeah,
Holly McGrath. Yeah.
And he was like, he just sort of had this look like, I'm not worried about any of that. I'm just out here. I'm coaching football.
Molly McGrath, not Holly.
He's got to be one of the youngest coaches to ever play for a title too. So I think that's a great thing is that, he's a young African-American guy who's not focused on being young or African. He's just focused on college football. And I think if you're a true fan of the sport, I think that's all you want. You're like, forget all the other stuff. It's great. Yeah, there's no doubt. I'm sure he's had to overcome some adversities. But, everybody. Nick Saban was born in West Virginia. You can't get more adverse than that. He was working in a coal mine. His dad owned a gas station. And then, he goes on to be the greatest coach of all time. Everybody's had something against them that you have to overcome. And Marcus Freeman did it, and he's done it without, like we talked about the guys in the Mobile banquet, talking about himself the whole time. All he talked about was the rest of his team. And you're right. Notre Dame has been elitist all its entire existence. And he made it seem like, hey, look, this is bigger than me. I'm a part of this. I'm not this. I am a part. And boy, I've never wanted to pull for Notre Dame before, and I'm going to pull for them. But I also don't think they have a shot, by the way.
Well, I don't either, but I hope they do. And look, Brian Kelly, but you know why? Because Notre Dame's always hired a coach that fit that billing that we just described. And Brian Kelly, we can't. He left to go to LSU, and now everybody wish he'd have stayed at LSU because they're starting to wear thin of the fake Southerner down there. Just some guys, and Randy said this a ton, some guys just give you the dang creeps and the hibby-jibbies, man. Brian Kelly's one of those for me. And then you look at Marcus Freeman, and it's like, man, I'd like to go hang out with that guy anywhere he goes, because you know he's genuine and you can feel it. And that's why I like Riley Leonard. And then I heard Will Howard last night after the game, and I hear what he said. Will Howard and Riley Leonard aren't afraid to throw their faith out there and give praise to Christ. And I think that's great. I think that's awesome. And again, they bring an element of likability to a program that you might otherwise not like. And we all three have just said that. You know, Marcus Freeman, Riley Leonard, those guys make it okay, it seems like, to say, okay, I'm going to throw away all the thoughts and things that I've had in my life about that program and how much I've hated that program. And I'm going to change my tune. And I know we got to go to break. It's top of the hour. We'll keep this conversation going into hour number 2. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Located in the heart of Alabama, Lake Martin is a destination of tasty delights.
Lots of butter.
There's no shortage of culinary genius.
Don't tell my secrets.
From mom and pops
Everyone feels like family.
to lakeside dining.
We serve food, but we try to do it with purpose.
Pour it straight in the ear.
I'm Trey Foshi,
I'm a chef now.
and I'm going to try them all.
Dude, I can do this all day.
Because there's one thing locals around here know. Lake Martin's got bite.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Gorees Furniture.
Your expressway to saving.
Welcome back, everyone, to hour number 2 here on the Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Again, thanks to both of them, longtime partners here on the Saturday Sports Countdown, allowing us to bring you this program each and every Saturday. Get your comments in on YouTube and Facebook, obviously, with our new podcast format here on Saturdays. Not to say that we won't end up back in the studio some to take calls, but for the most part, this is working out, and this is a great day not to be out and about and traveling. So it gives us an opportunity to all three be here and bring you this show. And we'll take your comments on anything you want to talk about. If you're just now tuning us in, because I know a lot of you do, going into the 8 o'clock hour, you might not have been up at 7. You might have still been rolling over in bed and going back to sleep. And it was a good day to do it. I don't blame you at all. But if you got some comment about the semifinals, you can send that to us. We'll hit that up. We just talked about that in the first hour. We're going to dive into college basketball here in the hour number 2. Auburn and Alabama both, again, starting off 2-0 in conference play. We'll talk about both of their games here today, and then maybe kind of what it looks like over the next 3 or 4 games for both teams. Alabama's in the top 5. Auburn is number 2. It looks like, if Auburn doesn't lay an egg against South Carolina today on the road, will be the number 1 team in the country starting next week when the polls come out. So I'll just start there. Randy, I'll start with you. Auburn getting off to a 2-0 start, getting a win on the road against Texas, had a 21-point lead, was able to hang on at the end, and that's really all that matters on the road.
Yeah, if you can get a win on the road, you better take them. I don't care who you're matched up with in the SEC. You can lose, and we've seen it in the past. A couple of years ago, I made mention I was at the Vandy game that we lost. I knew we were a much better team than they were, but when you're in there watching the game in somebody else's home environment, if it starts going sideways and you're missing shots, you can end up like Tennessee on the road at Florida. And it can get away from you quick. And we've seen Auburn do the same on the road at Kentucky a few times with some great teams. So it happens. But I don't know if we were on break when we talked about this last time, but Brett and I talked during Auburn Blitz this week on the podcast side. Who are some teams that you look at for Auburn that concerns you around the country? Not just some of these SEC teams that you could lose to on the road, but who are some other teams? And there's 2 that I mentioned, and it's wild to think that 2 of those teams that we would both mention, I believe, are right here in the state of Alabama. It's crazy where we've come over the last decade. But Auburn, Alabama, and Duke, to me, with my eyes, tell me that they've got the best chance if they hold suit and don't play poorly. Florida's right there on the outside looking in. I told you before that game with Tennessee and Florida that I thought Tennessee was a little bit more highly ranked than they deserved right now. Just watching some of the games that they played doesn't mean we can't go over there and lose, but that's where I am with it. It's a crazy time to be a college basketball fan in the state of Alabama to see how good both of these 2 programs are, Luke.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. I think they clearly are the best 2 teams in the league. Tennessee is certainly good, and maybe it's an anomaly getting beat by 30-something. In Florida, but it's not like they got beat by 30 on the last game of the regular season when they already have the 1 seed clinched. I mean, they got beat right here at the very beginning. Now, Florida's a good team too, don't get me wrong. Florida's good enough to make a deep run. And but I just – that Tennessee squad, and some people have fired back at me a little bit, but I said, I just don't know that they can shoot. Now, I think, again, this is an anomaly, but – I just don't think they're overall a great shooting team, and I think that's going to hurt them eventually. They're rough and tumble, but they are, and they're strong. And when they're clicking, they're very good. They may not beat you shooting, but they'll beat you just beating your head against the wall. But yeah, I think Alabama and Auburn are clearly the 2 best teams. Another team I'd put in there nationally is probably Iowa State. I mean,
absolutely.
Auburn came back and beat them, but they had them by 18. They're a good squad, and. So I think those are teams I talked about earlier, taking Alabama, Auburn, and Duke or the field. The one field team that would give me some pause is that Iowa State squad.
Sure.
But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Today's going to be a good game. Big, huge day of SEC basketball.
Well, Luke, and Randy, Alabama. I mean, look at these matchups, and this is every week. I mean, today you got a top 10 matchup. Alabama on the road at A&M. That's a 5 versus 10. Then you got Kentucky. And Justin just brought up how good is Mississippi State really. I need to watch them today. Kentucky travels to Mississippi State. That's a 6 versus a 14. Kentucky just lost on the road to Georgia, and Mississippi State's better than Georgia. So it's Kentucky after beating Florida 106-100, about to drop 2 in a row. We'll see. Tennessee, I mean, they've got to figure themselves out. I don't care. I mean, I know they've only lost 1 game, but it was awful. Now they got to go to Texas. And Auburn just barely escaped out of Texas. And I know they're not very good, but is that going to be a hangover for Tennessee today? Are they going to carry that over? And is what's his name for Texas? It just slipped my mind. I ought to know it by heart and memory and everything else, that scored 34 against Auburn. Is he going to have another game like that? I would probably say no. But can they pull something off like that? And then Auburn's got to go to South Carolina. And South Carolina opened up with A&M and Alabama, and they've got a pretty good team, but I don't think they're
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State. Yeah, excuse me.
Now, and here's one quick note. I'm pretty sure South Carolina's down 2 starters, and A&M is Wade Taylor, the 4th, is out. So
that'll be tough.
That's good for Alabama and South Carolina, because the South Carolina being down 2 starters, they don't have a deep bench, and then Wade Taylor is fantastic. He's averaging about 16 points a game, and his being out certainly will help. It's a 7:00 game on ESPN. I'm sure that place will be rowdy because they went to Oklahoma and won. By the way, Oklahoma's getting another taste of it, right? They were undefeated first 2 games in the league. They're 0-2, and tonight they have a tough one again.
They got to go to Georgia. They got to go to Georgia.
Do they go to
Oklahoma? Goes to Georgia. Oklahoma goes to Georgia. Yep.
Good luck.
Hey, that's tough. 0-3. I mean, staring at 0-3. But my point is what Bruce Pearl said in his press conference a couple of days ago. He said it's not about, we've got to make sure that we are focused every time we go on the floor, and no matter where we go, whether it's at home or on the road, if you don't play your best basketball, you're going to lose. And he used the slippery slope analogy, and I kind of told Randy about that on the Auburn Blitz podcast, but so-and-so beat this team, and they beat this, and they beat that, and then they beat Duke, and then Duke beat Auburn, and, now we're playing South Carolina. And I know that kind of is tongue-in-cheek sometimes, but it really is anybody on any given day can have a hot hand, and you can be off. And you can look up, and you can be in a dogfight and a rock fight on the road, and you can lose. So I think it's all about taking care of what you can do and making sure you play your best basketball every time you go on the floor.
It is funny. Jimmy and I talked about on the podcast the other day about how, man, winning on the road in the SEC is gold. You got to cherish it, love it, stroke it, feed it, water it, do everything because it's awesome. It's hard to do. And then we were saying all that in preparation for the Bama-South Carolina game because we were like, man, it wouldn't shock me at all if A&M goes to Oklahoma, loses. Oklahoma was a favorite, I think, Wednesday night, and then the other game was Arkansas was a favorite to beat Ole Miss. Well, what happens? All 3 road teams won that night.
Right.
And I was like, well,
that's about how it normally goes, isn't it?
But what we're also seeing is, and it doesn't mean these guys aren't good. What we're seeing is that the cream is separating a little bit early, and you're seeing the really good teams are separating from the teams that are just good. And Arkansas, with all this talent, now they may get good towards the end of the year, but right now they're 0-2 in this conference. I forget who they have today, but they may be they're staring 0-3 in the face.
Well, let's get the break for TV and radio. When we come back, we'll talk about the schedule for today in the SEC. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
Get ready to rev up your fall with Adams Motorsports in Montgomery. This season, experience the thrill of the open road like never before. From sleek motorcycles to powerful ATVs to versatile side-by-sides, we've got everything you need to fuel your passion for adventure. Whether Polaris, Suzuki, or Kawasaki, Adams sells and services the best. Go to where the journey begins. Visit us today or online for more information. From East Alabama's first family of power sports, Adams Motorsports of Montgomery.
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SEC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
There's only one clear choice in the Lake Martin area for plumbing, heating, and air. That's All Clear Plumbing and Air. Our professionally trained technicians offer full service repair and installation on all major brands. From drips to water heaters, thermostats to entire air conditioning and heating systems, and everything in between. Our fast, reliable, and guaranteed top-notch customer service will keep you informed and up to speed through the entire process. Call us today or look for us on Facebook and Instagram at All Clear Plumbing and Air, 256-496-2056. License number 19172.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air here in hour number 2. We've got about 45 minutes left in the show today. Justin said, was Austin there? Yes, he was. Austin was there for that one, too. So I think that may have been Austin's last trip.
Yeah,
as well.
He wrapped up a bunch of them.
I think he checked out after that one, too. I think a lot of people went into retirement after that. So Justin said, how long is Wade Taylor IV been at A&M? 8 years. It seems like it. It seems like he's been there for a long time. Let's dive into some specifics. Randy was asking about that with some of these teams. Let's look at the schedule for today. Again, I think every time you look up, you're going to have a great schedule here in the SEC, whether it be Tuesday, Wednesday night, or on Saturday. But you got Auburn, South Carolina that start at noon today on the SEC Network. We just talked about that point spread. Auburn favored by 16.5. Then you got Missouri and Vanderbilt. Missouri at home. I think both of those teams are decent. So that one will be fun to watch from a standpoint of who can maybe pull that one out. I would like Missouri at home in that game. I'll just go through these and get your thoughts on them here in just a second. Florida at Arkansas, and Arkansas may be staring at 0-3. Like you said, Luke, Florida's a 4.5-point favorite on the road. Tennessee takes their horrific roadshow shooting team to Texas. They are a 5.5-point favorite. That game's at 5 o'clock tonight, along with Oklahoma, Georgia. Oklahoma may be staring at 0-3. Georgia's a 6.5-point favorite at home. They just knocked off Kentucky this week. LSU travels to Ole Miss. That may be the game nobody cares about. Texas A&M.
Ole Miss is undefeated.
Now they are undefeated, and they're 2-0 in conference play. But LSU just they look terrible, and
they really do.
They look like maybe the worst team outside of possibly South Carolina. Alabama at Texas A&M tonight at 7 on ESPN. That's a 3.5-point favorite for Alabama. And then Kentucky and Mississippi State will tip at 7:30 on the SEC Network. That will be an interesting game. Kentucky trying not to drop 2 in a row, go on the road to maybe the hottest team in the conference in Mississippi State.
Well, I want to start with Alabama with Luke. I got Luke here, so I'm going to try to pull some basketball out of him. First, Luke, give us an update on the guard rotation for Alabama. I mean, minutes. I mean, we know what you got with Sears, but I think those two off guards, who's getting the most minutes? Who do you think that you'll start seeing some different – because I think you brought it up last week. Nate Oates is going to have to make some decisions on some rotations and some players playing with certain sets. And how is that moving? Do you like the direction the team seems to be going there?
loved the rotation last week. The one thing that may have been just a little puzzling was Houston Mallett got only about 3 minutes. Now, he dealt with an illness not too terribly long ago, so maybe he's still suffering effects of that. But, man, so many guys played and so many guys had good numbers against South Carolina. Again, you got to take it with a grain of salt. It is South Carolina. They're not a very good squad, but you can tell a good team when you see one. I mean, and they look like they were playing on all cylinders. Mark Sears still the lead dog at the guard position, obviously, but LeBaron Philon is right there. I mean, that's just a guy that loves to play basketball. You'll just go to the gym to watch him play because he loves being there. And he trash talks a little bit, but that's sort of what people do. But he doesn't do it in a malicious way. He's an effort guy, and he's got a nice little teardrop shot. His 3-point shot's coming around. Of all the guys on Alabama's team, of all the talent that's there, he's the one guy that keeps being projected in the first round, first 20 picks, really. I've seen NBA mock drafts this week that have him in the first 20. So I think he's going to end up being a one and done, which I hate, but I am happy for him. I mean, he's going to go and do big things, I think. He's going to be a guy you want to have on your team because he can do it all, and he can do it all well.
And he's long too, Luke.
Yeah, well, and I think his football background helps him with his aggressiveness. Just he's fearless. And I think you find that from guys who have played like defensive back when they play basketball, they want to come right at you.
They know how to use their body. They have to.
Yeah, they know how to use their body well without contact. That's a great point. But Aiden Holloway came around. I know it's a cuss word around here, but he's playing a lot better. He's playing within himself. The last couple of games, he's taken some shots that hadn't necessarily been called. Like I went to the South Dakota State game, and South Dakota State just had a bunch of big, burly, Viking-looking type dudes, right? And Alabama was clearly better, but they were skilled, and they knew what they were doing. They're very heady players. And a couple of guys accidentally, it looked like to me, although it could have been more intentional, really gave some shoves to Aiden Holloway. One of them actually hit him in the face, and none of them were called. And again, I wasn't upset about it because part of me was like, I want him to work through that. In the SEC, I promise you, when you go play Tennessee and Knoxville, you're going to get hit in the face, the crotch, the toe, the knee, everything. So you better learn to deal with it. And because that's just how they are. And again, that's just their style. And so he played through it, got better. He's still not the biggest person in the world. So, yeah, I mean, when somebody hits him, it can hurt. But he's doing okay. Then you move to the other positions like Darian Reed. I thought he got sort of a public undressing from Nate Oates when he didn't get back on defense the way he should have. He was coming back, but he almost pointed to Mark Sears like, this is your guy, and sort of left him, and it led to a wide open dunk, and Oates just got in his grill. And some people were like, well, you can't do that nowadays. And I was like, no, I think that's exactly what you should still be. You still got to coach. You can't just say, well, try to do better next time. I mean, if that's what you want to do, you're going to win a participation trophy, not a title. And, the big guys and the forwards are playing pretty well. Chris Youngblood is really coming into his own. This is a guy that I think all around may be better than Latrell Wrightsell. He's not as good a shooter as Wrightsell, and we miss that terribly right now. Wrightsell was the best shooter on the team, if you ask me, so his absence hurts. But Chris Youngblood is probably better at doing other things too. And you got, that guy averaged 16, 17 points playing in a smaller D1 school last year. So he knows how to score. The team's just coming around. I still think, I told Jimmy this, that I love that I still don't think we've seen their best basketball yet. I don't think we've seen close to it. Now, and the thing is, like that Oklahoma game, I kept looking at the game I was watching on my phone, so the score was there, but it wasn't as easily for me to see as a 52-year-old man. And I was watching, I was like, yeah, that was nice. That was so good. And I was like, wait a minute. We're up we win the game 107-80 or whatever. I was like, it didn't look like we beat them that badly to me. And Porter Moser, who's a coach for Oklahoma, had a great staff. I had never heard this before and certainly didn't expect to hear it from the opposing head coach. But he said, everybody talks about Alabama and live by the three, die by the three. He said, first of all, it's a little antiquated. Secondly, yeah, they shoot a lot of threes. but 41% of the time they get their own rebounds when they shoot those threes. Start the set back over. And then if they miss it again, 41% chance to get that rebound again. And, you know, that's where you get killed. And that's where, as an Alabama fan, you're watching, you're like, oh, we only went 8 of 28 from beyond the arc. But what you don't see buried in the stats is the rebounds when you got them after those missed 23 pointers and you put them back in for an easy 2 or ended up shooting another 3. And the next thing you know, you're up by 20. And it's deceptive.
All right, let's get to break for TV and radio. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Alex City and west side of the lake. It's time to celebrate because the all-new Lake Martin Pizza is open with the area's best pizza, and it's just down Highway 63 South in our town. Lake Martin Pizza of Highway 63 has a huge outdoor seating area with enclosed heated comfort, a full bar with cold beer, wine, and full spirit selection with family ownership and fun for the whole family. Dine in or pick up. It's just a short drive to our town and is hands down the area's best pizza. Like us on Facebook to see upcoming live entertainment and watch sports on our 360 wraparound TVs. Rejoice! Lake Martin Pizza on Highway 63 is ready for you.
Planting season is here, and the Potting Shed Garden Center is happy to give you professional landscaping advice when it comes to planting your shrubs and trees. Auburn's best kept secret will have it all this fall. Mums, pansies, pumpkins, and much more. All in an array of colors and sizes, along with beautiful pots and containers, indoor plants, and a great selection of other gardening gifts. It's all at the Potting Shed Garden Shop, where natural elements reign supreme. Located on the corner of Moore's Mill and Society Hill Road in Auburn.
This is Joseph Dean with Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory. I am pleased to announce that Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is now open to serve the public at our location on the corner of 49 North and 280 West in Dadeville. Please stop by and see lifelong resident of Dadeville, Molly Kaler, who will be running the office and meeting with families who want to plan ahead and pre-need their services. We are also available by phone 256-750-0381 or online at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Andrew McGreer at Dunning Roofing. At Dunning Roofing, we specialize in high-quality, premium roofs. We don't build roofs that just meet code requirements. We build quality roofs with premium materials that significantly exceed our competitors' warranties. We put money on your roof, not in our pockets. If you're looking for a top-quality roof, call Dunning Roofing today for your free quote at 256-307-7601 or visit us at dunningroofingal.com for more information.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown. About halfway through hour number 2, a couple segments left in the show today. Continue to get your comments in, and good analysis there by Luke on kind of breaking down where Alabama is right now and some of their players and what kind of production they have. Justin says Ole Miss basketball always gives Auburn problems. I think that went back to our conversation about Ole Miss being undefeated and playing LSU. Yeah, that's never an easy place to go play for Auburn. And it seems like that's always been a team that's given Bruce fits. Not many teams in the last 5 years. One's Texas A&M, another one has been Ole Miss. I would definitely say that probably have been outliers when it comes to causing Auburn problems. But when you look down at this conference, guys, I think, again, let's look, since we talked about Alabama, let's stay with them for just a minute. A&M today on the road, and then they've got Ole Miss coming in on Tuesday, and then on the road at Kentucky next Saturday. So 2 pretty tough road games sandwiched with a sandwich of Ole Miss at home coming in, Luke. So, again, no rest for the weary in this conference. You got to go to Rupp Arena, and you got to go out to Texas A&M tonight.
Yeah, I think Alabama has, they go – they opened up with Oklahoma, who's undefeated. Then they play South Carolina. Okay, South Carolina not that good, but then they're at A&M tonight, who's number 10 team in the country. Then they welcome in Ole Miss on Tuesday.
Yep. Right.
And then at Kentucky next Saturday. I'm thinking about going to that game. Just it may be a lot of fun and maybe a good opportunity to go. It's still Rupp Arena. I've been to Rupp Arena before, but I'd love to go again.
And I'll keep going. Then I'm not saying anything's easy, but you got Vanderbilt and LSU at home back-to-back after that Kentucky game, so you definitely feel good about those.
Yeah, the backside of Bama's schedule is much harder than the front side,
Right. And then you got Mississippi State on the road at the end of the month. I don't think anybody's
doing well for them is Keyshawn Murphy from Ramsey. He's playing well.
Yeah, and then Hubbard, too, is a –
Hubbard's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised with that guy from Ramsey. I mean, he was physical in high school, and that was a great get for them. And, I don't want to go over there. Brett and I were talking about that, just places that you don't want to go play right now. And Mississippi State's right there at the top. This is a 3-game stretch for Alabama. If they get through these 3, we really have separated ourselves from the pack, from Auburn and Alabama. You're going to know a lot about Alabama if they go over and beat Buzz there at Texas A&M. And they come back and beat an Ole Miss team that's probably going to be undefeated coming in. And then you go on the road to Rupp Arena. I don't care if you say Kentucky's slightly off where their best days have been. It's still an impossible place to go and play. For Auburn, it has been. Even when we take great teams over there, they run us out of the gym in Rupp Arena.
And I think Kentucky's pretty doggone good. I mean, you got to tip your hat to Pope coming in as the coach and kind of rejuvenating them. I think we talked about John Calipari in Kentucky. I think it was a mutual, I've had enough of you, kind of like Layla and Lane at the time. Not that John Calipari and Kentucky ever get back together like they have, but I think both of them had enough of each other. I think John Calipari needed to go somewhere, and I think Kentucky was ready for him to go somewhere. So
expounding on that Keyshawn Murphy talk, he averages about 23 minutes a game, 10 points a game, 7.7 rebounds a game, 2 assists a game, a steal, and 1.3 blocks while shooting 74% from the stripe and about 53% from the field. I mean, those are really, really good numbers.
Well, I know we've got 16 games to go in conference play, but here's how it breaks down right now. You got a 5-pack at the bottom at 0-2, Oklahoma, Arkansas, LSU, Texas, and South Carolina. Then you got a boatload of teams at 1-1, Missouri, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Florida, Kentucky, and Georgia. And then you got 5 at the top undefeated, A&M, Ole Miss, Alabama, Mississippi State, and Auburn. And again, it's only 2 games in, but we kind of saw on the opening weekend of SEC play who the pretenders were and who the contenders were. And that'll continue on as we get into the meat of this schedule. But we talk about what it's going to take to win this conference, win the regular season. JJ and I talked about it yesterday on the show. And it's always that 13 number that'll get you in contention. I think there could be, 3 or 4 teams vying for that spot up there at the top. And I think if you could get to 15 wins, if somebody wins 15 conference games, they're going to win the league. But I think it could be between 15 and 13, the 15, 14, or 13 mark win-wise for a team to win this league.
Well, that's the reason this 3-game stretch for Alabama is so important, because they're all winnable games. Alabama's going to be favored in all 3 of these games. Probably. I say they are. I mean, you could be 50-50 on the road at Rupp, but I think they're the better team in all 3 of these games. But if they could lose 2 of these 3 too, that's how hard this stretch is. And then you get, a little bit of a respite where you can get your feet back under you before you've got Auburn a few times later on down the road. So I'm watching this one closely, and I do want to go back to your comments on Murphy, though, Luke. You know, we've had the good fortune of watching some programs here in this state, and we can pass along the way that certain high school programs in this state play. And I can tell you this about Ramsey, who, by the way, one of the best coached basketball teams in our state. But they play that way. Those stats that you just gave, when he left high school, that's what he left. If you don't play up-tempo, hard-nosed, defensive pressure basketball for Ramsey High School, you don't play. It's really simple. So no surprise at all to me that certain players from certain programs in our state move on and have success. That's one of them.
No doubt about it. We see them year in and year out. You know, again, we've been doing it long enough to know we get shocked when certain teams don't make it to Birmingham rather than certain teams making it. I mean, it's good to get to see new teams make it, but when we look around at each other and go, where's that team? And, you know, where's that team from North Alabama in girls 3A basketball? You know, we just get used to – and again, probably more in basketball than any sport, you get in a system in a program where you just – it doesn't really matter the players. You just recycle and they get into that culture, and it's a machine. And you can either get in there and play it that way or you get out or you get pushed out. And so that's why you see a lot of these programs that are really good in the girls and the boys side that continue to make the finals every single year here in the state. So Kyle said he doesn't think A&M will have the firepower to keep up with Bama tonight. Without weight, that definitely is a massive blow for, I mean, it's the best player. I mean, there's no other way to spin it. You take the best player off any of our teams. You take Grant Taylor or Mark Sears off Alabama's team. You take Janai Broome off Auburn's team. They're not going to be the same. I don't care. I mean, they're still good teams. They can still win the game. But you take anybody's best player off the team, it's going to be a tough matchup, no matter who it is. All right, let's get to break. Stay tuned. More to come here on the Saturday Sports Countdown right after this.
Thunderbolt Lightfoot at Oscar's Cafe on Highway 49 South in Dadeville, Alabama is looking to see you today. Now, let me tell you, they got great food. They've always had great food all these years. Now, they still got that atmosphere. They still got that service. They still cater. Let me stop right there. 15 to 415 they can handle. So give them a call today at Oscar's, Highway 49 South in Dadeville, 256-825-4827.
The new owners of Stillwater's Country Club want to welcome you to play the area's premier course at Stillwater's with our new rate. Now, play for only $35 per 18 during the week and only $40 for the weekends. Stillwater's Golf is ready to give you the area's best golf experience, and many upgrades are coming, including a lighted range and course expansion. Meet the new staff and enjoy $35 per 18 Monday through Friday and $40 on the weekends. All at Stillwater's Country Club in Dadeville.
Hillary Towers may very well be the Lake Martin area's best kept secret. An affordable senior citizens community located on Highway 22 East in Alexander City. Spacious one-bedroom units are currently available. Great location, peaceful setting, comfortable living where pets are allowed and utilities are included. Call today for more information on the newly renovated Hillary Towers, 256-329-0552. 256-329-0552. Hillary Towers, 22 East, Alexander City.
At C&T Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Inspired by the bold bison, Southern Union students blaze new trails every single day. They press forward knowing their SU education will lead them to success. Affordable, accessible, and locally unparalleled. Whether you're transitioning to a university or launching straight into a lucrative career, a degree from SU SDC can help you blaze your path. 3 locations, dedicated faculty and staff, endless possibilities. It's all waiting for you at Southern Union. It's time to venture forward. Register today.
2025 RVs are here.
Be the first to see the latest and greatest from your favorite manufacturers and lock in special show pricing at your local Camping World. Up to 56% off new 2024 RVs during Camping World's Model Year-End Clearance. Shop clearance pricing on over 24,000 2024 RVs that must go. Take advantage of these Model Year-End prices before they're gone.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sports Blitz Saturday Sports Countdown presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill, Sunshine Heating and Air. A couple segments left on the show today. Justin said, Randy, we are in the hope stage of Auburn football.
We do it every year. We are in the hope stage.
We're not getting pulled in, though.
Then we're in the transfer portal stage, and then we've got these new guys coming in that are going to fit the holes that we have stage, and then we've got a quarterback that's going to get developed stage, and then we get into the season and all hell breaks loose. So I'm with Brett Pritchard. I'm in the show me stage this year of my life of Auburn football. Until we start winning, I'm not
and I really think
speculating at all.
We laugh about that, but it really just needs to be that way right now. I mean, it just I look, there's nothing wrong with getting excited. And Luke said this before, you know, how quickly you forget what happened. And then when the season rolls back around, you get excited again and you kind of get pumped up and all this kind of stuff until you get right back in the same old routine again. But I have no problem getting excited for the season and you want your team to do well. But I truly am, and I think y'all are too, Randy and Justin and all the Auburn people watching. We just show us now. Look, we've done everything that you possibly could do. It's like the guy that studies his rear end off for a test and he knows it back and forth and nobody can tell him anything. And he gets in there on the test and blanks out. And it's like he can't remember squat. He can't remember his name. He panics. And so the bottom line is just go win some football games at this point. Let's quit talking about all the things we're doing right and just go win a dang game. How about that? And how great would it be to just go to Waco, Texas and start off on the right foot for a change instead of going, man, I'm worried about going out here and losing this game. And then you lose it. And then it's all back to the same old negative stuff again. So,
Brett, I agree with you because except for the staying up all night studying and knowing the material, I blanked out on tests all the time, just like that. I did.
It's amazing. It is amazing what external things will do to you as far as your memory when it comes to trying to remember something for a test. So, has there ever been anything more useless than a test, though? I'm serious. Like, you go in and take a test, and you're like, hurry up and pass the paper out so I can get all this stuff. And then you're racing to get all the answers down. You turn it in. It's like you walk out the door, and in 5 minutes, you have completely forgotten every single thing that you just crammed for.
Oh, I've forgotten it before I've looked at it. But
you never knew it.
Never knew. If you don't have to know it, you ain't never forget it. I'm trying to cut the middleman out, Brett. I'll never. Dad told me about one time. I think he was at Alabama, and he said, he never went to this. He did super at Alabama, but there was one class, English class, he had to take to graduate or something. And my grandmother was an English teacher, so Dad said I knew everything about English could ever be known about English. There wasn't anything she could bring to me that was different. So Dad said he just, hung out and partied and did everything during that particular English class. And he showed up. There's only going to be one test. And he showed up at the end. She goes, all right, here's your sentence. Do it in tree diagram form. Dad said, excuse me, do what now? He had never heard of a tree diagram before. And he said,
did he draw a tree?
One time in Alabama, he panicked. But he said, I'm sorry, you said what? You said something about a tree?
I thought I was in English class. Yeah. I didn't know
I didn't know botany.
I'm not going into botany. But Kyle said my full loop of life of an Auburn fan needs to be the intro of all. I went through the full loop of Auburn about a month ago. I said, and I did it kind of in summation of what Randy did. And it is. I mean, I've got it down to a T. And at the end of it's like at the end of the.
Well, you've been involved in it.
Well,
for the last 20 years, for all of us Auburn fans, it's been you for a lot of us. It's been you at the head because you're the one that gets built up. You get these aspirations, Brett. You do it. You're wonderful at it. And I don't blame you because you love the team that much, but you'll have yourself talked into all these great and wonderful things. And I'll do a show with you on a Saturday morning where I'll go, Brett, do you really in your heart of heart think that we're about to go beat this team? Oh, man, I think it's about to get turned around. And then we fall flat on our face again. And then so you're the epitome of it, Brett. So if you don't do it,
I wear it well.
If you don't do it this year, there's a lot of Auburn fans that aren't doing it anymore if you don't.
Well, and I'm really sticking to the guns. It's not that look, I'm not abandoning ship. That don't misinterpret. Just go win. Like I'm glad we're in the top 5 in portal rankings. I'm glad we're in the top 5 in the regular rankings in recruiting. I'm great with all that. I love our effort on the road recruiting. Randy, you say that all the time. I love everything we've got going on, but the play on the field. And that's what we show up to watch. It's like, man, what good does all this effort do if you can't make it come to fruition on the field? So
it's like if you're baking a cake, you get the flours from Italy and the icings from Switzerland, and you got some topless Hooters waitress baking it, and you got all this stuff going on that's awesome. And then you bring the cake out there, and that thing's all deflated, and the icing's running off.
There's one great thing about all of Luke's stories, by the way.
It has a topless woman in it.
There's a Hooters waitress over on the side somewhere.
Baking cakes with flour up in the air, and nobody eats, like somebody broke that down the other day, said, I don't see anybody eating a bunch of raw eggs, and I don't see anybody taking a big bite of flour, and I don't see anybody just turning up a thing of cane sugar. But when you put them all together, they make a pretty good product. Well, we got all the stuff. We try to take bites of raw eggs and flour and sugar. And you got to make the daggum thing, man. You can't do all this stuff by itself. So anyway, Steven's on board. He said WDE. We appreciate it, Steven. Again, somehow we drifted back into football talk, and we've got the number 1 team in the country in basketball. I don't know how we do this. It's like a magnet. It's a magnet.
We can say that, and again, I go to basketball. I go to road basketball games. I love it. It's fun. I know more about Alabama basketball history than I want to than most humans. But in the end, it's football. That's it. We can pretend like that we care that I think Alabama beat North Carolina in gymnastics last night. I'm not sure, but it sort of scrolled past my vision in the internet of Twitter, and I said, "Oh, I hope they win." And I hadn't checked it yet. I'm talking about it now. I could be Googling as I'm speaking, and I'm not because I don't care enough. So,
your true feelings come out. I mean, it does. I mean,
let me say this. Let's pretend like y'all hadn't signed Deuce Knight. If Deuce Knight were coming to a campus visit to Auburn today, and Auburn were playing Kentucky at home in basketball, and somebody said to you, all right, here's the deal. He's visiting campus. He can't go to the basketball game, but we need this huge crowd. He's going to the science building. He loves science. Everybody's got to be at the science building. Or you can go to the Kentucky game. Everybody's going to the science building.
I mean, you're right. Look, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. I mean, it just is what it is. So, all right, we're going to take our final break. When we come back, we'll spend 3 minutes on the number 1 team in the country before we close it out. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
If you're tired of the same old and you're hungry for something really good, then it's time to go to JR's Sports Bar and Grill. JR's has the best fingers and wings around, and their menu is loaded with appetizers, burgers, salads, and so much more. Follow JR's on their Facebook to keep up with their live music events and drink specials. And if after a long day you just want to stay in, remember JR's delivers. Call in your order at 256-329-2328. JR Sports Bar and Grill, 145 Alabama Street in Alexander City.
At Russell Medical, we're proud of our exceptional nurses, like Nurse Brandy Worthy. Brandy represents the selfless, compassionate clinical leader patients expect and coworkers admire. Brandy was recently honored with the Nightingale Award for Nursing Excellence for her high standards, sound judgment, and caring manner. Her passion for her profession inspires us all.
Being a nurse is not just what you do, it's who you are. I'm proud to be a part of the nursing team at Russell Medical. We are the link between all hospital services, providing you with exceptional, personalized care.
Satterfield Outdoor Living is Lake Martin's trusted friend for your outdoor land and leisure needs. We're the region's authorized Skag mower dealer for residential and commercial lawns and offer all the small engine accessories you need with top lines of Steel, Echo, Shindaiwa, Husqvarna, and Metabo products that can tame any landscape. Satterfield is also your grill headquarters with Big Green Egg Grill, and our pros service everything in-house and back up all sales. Get the Satterfield Outdoor difference on Highway 280 right across from Tallapoosa Ford.
Main Street Family Urgent Care.
Main Street Family Care offers a wide array of services that allows them to treat many conditions, and they also offer primary care. In addition to these services, they also offer DOT physical exams, lab testing, sports physicals, and vaccines. They accept most major insurance plans, including Medicaid. Main Street Family Care opens 7 days a week.
Main Street Family Urgent Care. Heal better, feel better fast.
SignSource is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Worst. Welcome back, everyone, to the Saturday Sports Countdown final segment here on the show. Again, we appreciate everybody watching and listening each and every Saturday. Justin has to ask, what has taken more years from your life, audio issues or Auburn athletics?
Audio, because I'm expected. You know, when someone tunes into us, they don't know you, Justin. They didn't know Kane or somebody else. We've had a lot of great producers on the back end. They don't know you, but they see me and Brett. And when it sounds like Starship X is coming in the middle of a broadcast.
I'll never forget that Alabama, Mississippi one. And I knew something. Look, you knew when something was going on when you can look over and Justin give you that look. Like, he's like, oh, yeah, it's all good. And it really isn't. It ain't really good, man. And you know, like, okay, he's telling me it's good, but it ain't good.
Brett, I
gotta say this. We may just not even get to it, but I got back and I turned the stream on. It was like, I said, well, nobody listened to that. I'm glad I called that game for 3 hours. But
Justin
anyway.
does wear his heart on his sleeve with that stuff. He yeah,
well, because he does care. He cares.
The more he tilts his head is how more screwed up the audio is. And that broadcast, he's like, yeah, it's going to be okay. I'm like, no, it's not. I don't think this is going to be okay at all. This is not going to be okay.
All right, so I have gotten the message. We got to get out in 4 minutes. So I've got 4 minutes to talk about Auburn and South Carolina today. Randy, I'll kick it over to you. Auburn traveling to South Carolina. Again, it's not a massive matchup to talk about. This is not like we're playing Kentucky or Florida today. You're playing South Carolina. You should take care of business. Janai Broome, to me, is still the story. He just kind of looks like he sleepwalks himself to 24-12. Every single time he goes on the floor, that's how good he is.
Yeah, it's what a get. Thank the Lord for NIL. Any Auburn fan that wants to go and complain about the transfer portal and NIL, don't watch his basketball team, because you wouldn't have Janai Broome and you wouldn't have half of the great players that we throw out there, because outside of the freshmen, the entire roster's transfers that we've gotten in Dylan Cardwell. So Bruce Pearl is playing that game as well as anyone, and we're really lucky to have him. But Brett, watching this team, it can be a Miles Kelly. That's the beauty of this Auburn team, is Miles Kelly can go for 7 on the road at South Carolina today, and then we can come back home and we can play Mississippi State or any other main team, and he can go for 20. And he did that at Texas. There was a moment in that game the other night where if Miles Kelly doesn't go off, Auburn probably has a really good chance of losing that game.
They would have lost.
And then CBM doesn't score there in the first half, and he comes back out in the second half, and he can go get his shot, and he goes to the free throw line, and he knocks down key free throws to close the thing out. So Auburn's just deep, and it can be a different player each and every night. And the X factor still for me is Denver Jones. When Denver Jones is in the basketball game, at the point or the 2 or wherever we need him, we seem to be a much better team when he's out there on the court. And I think that when we get into on the road at Alabama or Alabama at Auburn Arena or some of these key matchups, it's going to determine which one of our 2 teams wins the conference title. I think you'll see a little bit less of the bench than we're seeing currently, and you'll see a little more of those elder statesmen out there on the court, and Denver Jones being a key one to me.
We just broke down Alabama's schedule, the next 5 games. Let's look at Auburn. South Carolina today. Then you go home. You come home. At least you get Mississippi State at home. You play them Tuesday night at Auburn at 6 o'clock, and then you go on the road to Georgia, which right now is proven to be a tough deal. And we'll see if Oklahoma can go over there and win. I'm gonna say no. So Georgia will be undefeated at home when Auburn shows up, and then you got Tennessee coming into Auburn next Saturday. And so, look. I mean, you got actually in 2 Saturdays, you got Georgia, and then Auburn's got a week. They don't play a midweek game, and then they play Tennessee. So, man, Mississippi State and Tennessee, 2 out of their next 3 after South Carolina. I mean, it's almost similar to what Alabama's got to face. Alabama's got A&M and Kentucky.
We couldn't ask for a better schedule. I'll say that. I mean, you look down at this schedule for Auburn this year, to have this team and have this SEC schedule line up the way that we have it, there can be no complaints.
Let me wrap this up for TV. Randy and Luke, y'all hang on for just a second. We appreciate everybody watching again here on the Saturday Sports Countdown. And again, we'll be back with you next Saturday for more. For Randy and Luke, I'm Brett saying we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. See you next Saturday for more of the Saturday Sports Countdown.
Ivy Creek Healthcare is excited to showcase their newest clinic, Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin, located conveniently near the main entrance to Stillwater's on Highway 49 South in Dayton. Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin is an urgent care with walk-ins welcome. Whether you need lab work, x-rays, or immediate care, find comfort here at Ivy Creek Family Care of Lake Martin. Ivy Creek, here when you need us most. 256-827-5379.
As the heat of summer fades and cooler temperatures come calling, we look forward to that feeling of fall. It's the perfect time to be outdoors with family and friends, and a great time to be alive. Make sure your heart is ready for the season with an appointment at the UAB Heart and Vascular Clinic at Russell Medical. I'm Dr. Kevin Sutherland, and our entire clinic is dedicated to keeping your heart healthy. We're right here in your own community and backed by the knowledge and expertise of UAB Medicine. Make an appointment today by calling 256-234-2644 or visit uabmedicine.org/heartrussell.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
If you listen carefully, you'll hear the roads of Alabama calling, and Sarah Honda has your answer. serving you for over 40 years with one of the largest Honda and pre-owned inventories in the state and the Sarah Promise. Our best deal when you buy or trade, a 72-hour exchange policy, a no-hassle trade-in promise. Written offers are good for 7 days. And our best service promise. Our factory-certified technicians help keep your vehicle running smoothly. That's why Alabama can be yours to discover in a new vehicle from Sarah Honda in Sylacauga.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen-printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.